Hey everybody, SpideyFanViews here, and I read a lot of comics this week. This was a massive week. So anyways, we'll show you what I'm going to do my reviews on. The first event for Marvel Now, Age of Ultron. Swamp Thing, number 18. Superior Spider-Man, number 5. Animal Man, number 18. And Green Lantern, number 18, Wrath of the First Lantern, part 5. I start off with this one. It's a different artist, and I gotta say, I think this is the best art the series has seen. I really like this guy's pencils. It looks really cool, and being that it's in black and white because they're in the dead zone is really neat. I loved seeing the fight between Hal Jordan and Sinestro over the ring and who gets out of the dead zone. I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm going to spoil the ending. Okay, so be warned. So after they have this huge fight over this ring of who gets out and who doesn't, because that squirrel humanoid thing was pulling Simon out, and I guess his ring split in half again, and split and was about to pick one of them. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I read this like 8 hours ago, so I can't fully remember, but I totally called it, this part here, where Hal Jordan is willing to kill himself to get out. And now listen, it was said in this book that Hal Jordan is in the dead zone, but he's still alive, because it's like he has one foot in each side, you know, like he's part alive, part dead. So Hal Jordan thinks the only way he's going to get out is if he dies and becomes a Black Lantern. I totally called that. I totally saw that coming. Because remember that issue, Green Lantern, where it said Hal Jordan be the greatest Black Lantern? I totally saw that coming. That was awesome. I'm so happy that happened. I thought this was entertaining. Not the best the series has had, but definitely entertaining. I'm very sad that Jeff Johns is going to be leaving Green Lantern after, what, like 5-10 years? Well, 10 years I think it was. But I thought this was a really good comic book, and I recommend it to anyone, really. It's great. Well, not. I recommend this story arc. Don't just get this one. Get the issue before. What should we review next? Let's review Animal Man. This is the most tragic day in the life of Buddy Baker. So, somebody dies. But I want to say this here was very entertaining. I really did like this. I love the artwork as usual. Unfortunately, this is going to be my last issue for Animal Man because I was only getting it for Rot World, and my pull list is just way too big. It's massive, trust me. I get too many comic books. And I read too many comic books. That's consuming my life. Anyways, it takes place where last issue took off, the not-so-conclusion to Rot World. It didn't even feel like a conclusion. It just led on to another thing. It was stupid. It's not the ending. Anyways, let me just say, why would you call that last issue? I'm going to go on a little rant here. Why did they call last issue a conclusion when you have to read these 2 issues to figure out the finale of Rot World? That's like, why couldn't you just call it like Rot World chapter or whatever part you were on and have this as the finale? It boggles my mind. Anyways, so it takes place where we left off. Where Buddy Baker is going through that portal that they went through, the rift. And it turns out to be like the rot or something like that, the decay, the Parliament of Decay. And he goes back to his family. And let me just say, there's this really awesome battle where, you know, in the Rot World, where we see Maxine go to the rot creatures and, you know, give herself up. Well, this Buddy Baker gets there in time and he saves the day. And there's an awesome fight between Buddy Baker and these rock creatures, and Maxine has a pretty cool moment, and then Cliff dies trying to save his dad. This was a stellar read. I'm very happy that I bought this. I really enjoyed this. It's Rot World, other than, you know, that last issue, has been great. And I think this And this here should have been the conclusion to the Animal Man chapters, parts of the Rot World. This, I don't know why this should have the Rot World banner right on it, saying, because you really, if you read Rot World, you really should buy this. This ties in. This is the ending. This is not the epilogue. This is the conclusion. That's how I feel about it. Let's talk about Age of Ultron. First of all, foil cover, fantastic, and it's also a wraparound cover. So let me just get that there, so you can see it. Very cool. And you got the inside too, and it's in bloated. So this is a very cool cover. How do I feel about this event? Okay, let's just go back 2 years ago. Fear itself. Piece of shit. We go back last year, we had Avengers vs. X-Men. It was meh. That's what it was. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was just okay. And it did not feel like an event. I really kind of was let down by it, but I have to admit, there were some really good issues. Like, the last 2 issues were really good. So, I'm not going to say it was a strong read. It was an okay read. It was just okay. Now, how do I feel about Age of Ultron? This, actually, is pretty cool. I really enjoyed this. I don't know, really, it makes you ask more questions than, you ask more questions than you get answers to. Like, questions I had through my head: is this an Elseworld universe? I started off thinking it was, but now I kind of don't think it is, because if we look at, this comic book here is going to be a tie-in to this, and same with Fantastic Four. So, these are probably taking place before this happens, these comic books. And the tie-ins are going to show how this happened. And I think this might take place in the regular Marvel Universe. I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure. But I don't think it takes place in an Elseworld, because why would it take place in an Elseworld when these tie into it? That's my thoughts. But anyway, so we have this universe, or this place that the Marvel Universe, or whatever universe it is, where Ultron has just taken over, and yeah, Brian Hitch's artwork is amazing. But Ultron's taken over. Pretty much the superheroes are gone. Hawkeye is just total brutal, like brutality and all that. It's very Hawkeye heavy, this issue, and I love Hawkeye. There's some awesome fights. It's just a really interesting read, and I feel as though this will be a good event. This is going to be a good event. Do I think that Marvel will do a reboot? No. Why would they put so much time into Marvel now if they're just going to reboot the Marvel Universe? Do I think this is going to, be the thing that leads into a reboot? No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do a reboot. And plus, when you look at it, Marvel now is selling much more comic books than the New 52. So why would they change that? Marvel is getting fantastic sales. Marvel is destroying DC. DC's only real selling book is Batman, maybe Green Lantern. Only the more popular characters, Justice League. But other than that, they got really nothing. Like All-Star Western. Apparently, iVampire is really good, but not really all their books are that great. And so I don't think that they're gonna do a reboot. I don't think this is gonna lead into a reboot. I don't think Marvel's doing a reboot. However, I do think this will be a good event, and I do think that this takes place in the Marvel 616 universe. These books happen before this. That's my thoughts. I thought it was entertaining. Okay, now let's talk about this issue right here. The most controversial issue this week, I would say. And there's going to be a lot of Spider-Man fans that are going to rage and get crazy when they see what happens in here. Very cool James Bondish cover. Very neat. I like it. But like I said, a very controversial issue. And people are going to be freaking out. I can tell you that. There are going to be people that are going to be freaking out. And Dan Slott is just He's got balls, okay? He's got guts. He has done some really gutsy things with Spider-Man in the last couple this whole year. He's from December to now. Everything he's done, very gutsy. That's why I give props to Dan Slott on that. But he's an amazing writer. Anyways, wow. First of all, this was a fantastic issue. One of the best comic books that came out this week. One of the best comic books that came out this year. So what's going on here is, remember in last issue, Massacre, that villain went on a killing spree in this burger place. So this lady here is, basically saying, her reputation is ruined, and he comes up and offers her, he says, if you pay me this much money, I will kill lots of people wearing this shirt, your competitors, so their reputation is down the drain too. I like this shirt. This is like Marvel comic books, but it says Mocha-Cola. And anyone notice that? Speaking of little Easter egg references like that, there's one in Daredevil End of Days. I just wanted to show that, because this is probably the best page. If I were to pick one page out of all the comic books that came out this week, I think it would be this, or maybe a couple from Swamp Thing. But so I just thought I should show that. It's a very cool scene. So anyways, he offers her money to kill people and wreck her competitors' reputation. Rich people, greedy little assholes, so she obviously does it. That's one part of this story. The other part is Auto Spidey, getting his technology on, and getting some new technology, and he goes to see this lady who's gonna try and help him pass the class. But what he did is, it reminds me a lot of The Dark Knight, where in the Dark Knight movie he had the that spat sonar thing. Yeah, he's kind of got that to find Massacre, but remember Batman had the bat sonar to find Joker? Yeah, it's sort of like that. And he's got all the spiders going around trying to find anything, and U2 or whatever his face is kind of like the Lucius Fox here saying this is too much power for one man, and it is a lot of power. But anyways, he's found Massacre, and let's just say Dr. Octopus is a superior Spider-Man than Peter Parker. I don't like this Spider-Man. I like Peter Parker more as a character, but I think he is a lot smarter than Peter Parker, and he does things that Peter Parker wouldn't do. Like, he called the police once he got the location, and he accessed memories to figure out that Massacre would be holding hostages in a factory far away, the Mocha-Cola factory, the competitor's factory, with hostages with bombs on them. See, now if that were Peter Parker, he would have went straight to Massacre, but he's smarter than that, and he saved the hostages first, and then went after Massacre at the Mocha-Cola shirt and Marvel comic shirt. So he goes, Massacre's on his killing spree, and Spider-Man is to save the day, but a lot of people die. But Spider-Man, he can't help that, okay? So a lot of people die, and Spider-Man is trying to save people, but like I said, people die. And this is where it gets brutal. Shoots him in the hand. Shoots him in the shoulder. Breaks him in the hand. This guy is like almost dying. And what happens is, he's like, well, what should I do? Should I leave you for the authorities, send you back to jail, free to do it again? Or should I just end you right now? And one of the people in the crowd says, do it. And now this is the thing where it happens. He starts feeling emotions. He starts feeling like a human being. Like, he feels fear. He feels remorse. And Peter says, see, there is a chance, Otto, and then he just ends him. Just plumishes him. And of course, this lady gets imprisoned, and that's the end of the comic book. Wow. Okay, now that if you think that sounded good, that wasn't even my comic of the week, because this was. This is the ending of Rot World I wanted. These two comic books here is what I wanted from Rot World. This is the ending I wanted, Scott Snyder. Not that cheap shit you gave us last week, or last month, or last issue, because that was pretty bad. This is what I wanted to see. Animal Man fight his enemies and save his family, and Swamp Thing fight Anton O'Kane and save Abby. That's what he did, and that's what I loved about this. Let's just say the artwork. Yannick Paquette is back. He's back, and he's back. That's all that matters. And yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. The violence in all this is fantastic. Swamp Thing fights O'Kane, and shit goes down, man. I remember last week I said the best fighting in a Marvel DC comic book I read this year was in Batman Incorporated number 8. Yeah, this annihilates that. This takes that comic book and I just want to. That's nothing compared to this. This is fantastic. Oh, I just don't want to spoil it because I really want you to see these yourself, because like when you see it on paper, it's much more cooler. So we fight. So this is the touching part. What happens is the only way to stop Anton O'Kane, because every time you kill him, you're just gonna go back, is they gotta change the rules with the Parliament of Decay, because you know, yeah, this takes place after Rot World, where Swamp Thing goes through that rift. So the Parliament of Decay says the only way you could stop him if a new avatar of the Rot happens, and you know, Abby has to be the new avatar, so Swamp Thing has to kill her. So he does. She saves his life, and she kills Anton. She gets Anton, and then they go to the groove, where the Parliament of Green avatars or whatever go when they die. And it ends here, basically, and Alec Holland will be back as Swamp Thing, and he will be reborn. This was an amazing read. Now, before I get on to my ratings, I'm just going to say I'm changing up the rating system. I'm going to be a bit more critical of how I rate comic books. So this one, even though I say I'm trying to be more critical, I still have to give it a 5.2. I would give this a 4, maybe a 4.5. Yeah, a 4.5. Like I said, more critical. And I said this was one of the best comics I read all year, right? So I'm giving this a 4.8. A 4.6. I'm gonna go 3.8 with this one. So let me know what you guys think of comics. I really want to know what you guys thought of Superior Spider-Man and Age of Ultron. And I'm running out of time here, and so peace.